El siguiente contenido podría resultar sensible para ciertas personas. Se recomienda discreción. Theodore Robert Bundy fue un asesino en serie estadounidense. Después de más de una década negándolo, confesó 30 homicidios de mujeres estadounidenses que cometió en los Estados Unidos entre 1974 y 1978. El número real de víctimas es desconocido. El FBI le comprobó 36 asesinatos, por lo que fue condenado a muerte y ejecutado en la silla eléctrica el 24 de enero de 1989. Existen numerosos videos y materiales sobre este asesino, pero existe una muy rara y perturbadora grabación.
I was moving up the alley using a briefcase and some crutches, and a young woman walked down. And about halfway down the block, I encountered her and asked her to help me carry the briefcase, which she did, and we walked back up the alley. Basically, when I reached the car, what happened was I knocked her unconscious with the crowbar, and I handcuffed her and put her in the passenger side of the car and drove away. One of the things that makes it among the things that makes it difficult is that at this point she was quite lucid, talking about things. It's funny. It's not funny, but it's odd the kinds of things people say under those circumstances. She had a Spanish test the next day, and she thought that I had taken her to help tutor me for a Spanish test. It's kind of odd. The long and short of it was that I again knocked her unconscious and strangled her. Can you hear that? The Hawkins girl's head was severed and taken up the road about 25 to 50 yards and buried in a location about 10 yards west of the road on a rocky hillside. By this time it was almost dawn, but on this particular morning I was just absolutely, again, just shocked, kind of scared to death, shocked, horrified and I went down the road throwing the briefcase, the crutches, the rope, the clothes, just tossing them out the window. And the crowbar, everything. The handcuffs, everything. I get mad at myself a few weeks later because I'd have to go out and buy another pair. I mean, it's not comical, but that's what would happen. This was just, I was in a sheer state of panic, of just absolute horror, It's like, at that point in time, this consciousness of what has really happened is like, you break out of a fever or something. I would, that is. And so I drove. Talk about details coming back. I couldn't find one of the shoes, so I thought it was there, but it wasn't. So I went back. This was the next day. Got on my bicycle, rode back to that little parking lot. I knew there were police all over the place by that time. So I went back to that parking lot and I found both the pierced earrings and the shoe laying in the parking lot. So I surreptitiously gathered them up and rode off. So, there you are.
Diane Downs es una criminal estadounidense que asesinó a su hija e intentó asesinar a sus otros 2 hijos cerca de Springfield, Oregon, en mayo de 1983. Después de los crímenes, afirmó a la policía que un hombre había intentado secuestrarla y había disparado a los niños. Fue declarada culpable en 1984 y sentenciada a cadena perpetua más de 50 años. Escapó brevemente en 1987, pero fue recapturada rápidamente. A Downs se le negó la libertad condicional en diciembre de 2008, en diciembre del 2010 y en el 2021. El 19 de mayo de 1983, Downs le disparó a sus 3 hijos y los llevó en un automóvil salpicado de sangre al hospital Mackenzie de Springfield, en Oregon. Cheryl, de 7 años, ya estaba muerta. Danny, de 3 años, estaba paralizado de la cintura para abajo. Y Christy, de 8 años, había sufrido un derrame cerebral incapacitante. La propia Downs había recibido un disparo en el antebrazo izquierdo. Ella afirmó que le robaron el auto en un camino rural cerca de Springfield, por un hombre extraño que le disparó a ella y a los niños. Sin embargo, los investigadores y trabajadores del hospital comenzaron a sospechar, pues decidieron que la actitud de Downs era demasiado tranquila para una persona que acababa de sufrir un evento tan traumático. También hizo una serie de declaraciones que tanto la policía como los trabajadores del hospital consideraron muy inapropiadas.
We were just out, I guess, sightseeing, I guess you'd say. And the kids got tired. They fell asleep in the car, so I decided to just head on home. But I saw a road I hadn't been on before. We like to take back roads. And just went down that road, and there was a guy standing in the road, flagging me down, so I stopped. If I had shot my own children, would I not have done a good job of it? Why would I have taken my kids to the hospital? Wouldn't I have made sure they were dead and then cried crocodile tears? That's insane to think that I would do such a thing and then bring the witnesses in against myself. That's crazy. Christy woke up, and as I say, she may be the only one to get me out of this. Would I have brought her to the hospital? Wouldn't she be the one that I would make sure is dead? There are too many holes in it. When this man shot my daughter, my first reaction was to snap back to my childhood, to the pain that had happened to me back then, my marriage, my entrapment by society. This man was bigger than me. He was stronger than me. He had more power because he had a gun. And I stood there and I looked at Christy reaching, and the blood that just kept gushing out of her mouth. What do? Everybody says you sure were lucky. Well, I don't feel very lucky. I couldn't tie my damn shoes for about 2 months. It is very painful. It is still painful. The scar is going to be there forever. I'm going to remember that night for the rest of my life, whether I want to or not. I don't think I was very lucky. I think my kids were lucky. If I had been shot the way they were, we all would have died. You can't replace children, but you can replace the effect that they give you. And they give me love, they give me satisfaction, they give me stability, they give me a reason to live and a reason to be happy, and that's gone. They took it from me. But children are so easy to kill with time, but I don't think so. That haunts me the most.
Bernard Giles es un violador y asesino en serie que mató a 5 niñas y mujeres en Tucksville, Florida, entre septiembre y noviembre de 1973. Tras su arresto, admitió plenamente su culpabilidad y fue condenado a varias cadenas perpetuas en 1974.
You did kill for the first time. Was that a morning when you woke up and you were with your wife and daughter and something hit you and you went,
no.
Today may be the day?
Every day may be the day.
Every day?
Every day may be the day.
Do you know the name of your first victim?
No, sir. Not now. Nancy Jerry.
Did you know anything about her life?
I found out later she was a singer in a bar. That was it.
Tell me what happened.
We picked her up in Titusville. There's a wooded area, and I pulled off the road.
What did she look like?
A little shorter than me, fairly well built, pretty but not particularly pretty, brown hair. That's about it.
And at what point did she realize that you were going to harm her?
Well, not necessarily that I was going to harm her, because most of them don't assume you're actually going to kill them. Most of them assume it's a rape or something like that.
And what did you then do?
I told her to get out of the car, and that's when she became afraid. Up to that point, I assumed that she thought it was just going to be a rape. I walked her over in front of a tree, and then I shot her.
Just like that?
Yes, sir.
And what were you feeling as you did that?
I mean, the thing is what is your passion in your life? What is the thing that you like to do more than anything else? And you're doing it. You are so there that you can almost, it's like you can see the atoms vibrating. I mean, it's difficult to describe.
Tommy Lynn Giles fue un pedófilo, hebefílico y necrofílico asesino en serie, violador en serie y aniquilador familiar, secuestrador y ladrón estadounidense, que afirmó haber asesinado a más de 70 personas, entre ellas una familia completa. incluyendo una madre embarazada que durante el ataque entró en labores de parto. Asesinó tanto a la madre como al recién nacido a batazos.
So altogether, about how many you killed, the question is, and you think your answer is what?
See, you trying to sew me up in a wow. I don't know. You know, do the math. A couple, 3 year, 4 year, for 20 years. What does that add up to? 50 to 70. I'll go with that.
Okay.
Probably more.
The people you killed, they could be men, they could be women, they could be kids. It was like an equal opportunity.
I didn't form a pattern as most.
Yeah, it was like anybody was fair game.
It did not matter. Blood is blood. It didn't matter man, woman, child.
Yeah, no more thrill to kill the mayor of the town than the homeless guy on the street.
No.
Quite a few times, not all the times, but quite a few times, it was a mother and a kid.
And I have an answer for that.
Okay.
And I thought hard about that because it's been like smacked up inside my head a time or two. I know what I went through as a child. The nightmares, the drama, the reality of who I was and what was done to me. I never wanted that to happen to another person. I had something against that person. And there was another person there that witnessed it. I didn't want them to carry that on their shoulder the rest of their life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you were putting out of the misery they would have had if they had to live through all that.
That's the best I can answer it.
Beth Thomas tenía solo 6 años cuando sus profundos ojos azules impactaron a la sociedad estadounidense, luego de que un documental sobre su vida fuera emitido en la televisión. Beth narraba cómo intentaba asesinar a su hermano menor y en qué momento iba a matar a sus padres, y por qué había robado cuchillos de la cocina familiar. Parecía estar destinada a ser asesina y a no sentir jamás empatía, pero su destino fue otro. Beck y su hermano Jonathan vivían junto a sus padres biológicos en un estado total de abandono. Su madre había fallecido cuando la niña tenía solo 1 año. También tenían signos de haber sido maltratados y abandonados, y sus condiciones de alimentación e higiene eran precarias. Beck presentaba marcas de haber sido abusada sexualmente por su padre y podía pasar un día entero solo con una caja de cereales para comer. Jonathan vivía recostado en una cuna, rodeado de orina y pañales sucios, y su cabeza estaba deformada por haber pasado tanto tiempo en la misma pose, mientras la parte de atrás era completamente plana. Su frente tenía protuberancias. El niño tenía 7 meses y la falta de estímulo había repercutido en sus capacidades. No podía levantar la cabeza ni darse vuelta. En 1984, los hermanos fueron dados en adopción a una pareja que llevaba 12 años de casada. Sus arrebatos de violencia iban dirigidos especialmente contra Jonathan, quien en una ocasión debió ser hospitalizado luego de que la niña golpeara repetidamente su cabeza contra el piso, en un intento de quitarle la vida. El niño debió recibir puntos luego del ataque. Pensaba matarlo, confesó Beck al recordar ese episodio.
Do you ever stick pins in people? Who?
My brother.
Okay. Do you do it a little bit or a lot?
A lot.
Okay. And what are you trying to do to your brother?
Kill him.
Why do you want your brother to die?
Because I was hurt so bad, and I don't want to be around people.
Okay. Who else would you like to stick pins into?
Mommy and Daddy.
What would you like to have happen to them?
Die.
Where's your birth father? What's he doing?
He's right there, and there's his hand. His hand's right there.
Where?
Right there. You can't hardly see it because it's green.
What's it touching?
My vaginas.
And what is your birth father doing?
Hurting it.
Your face looks sad. Can you tell me about that?
It's crying because there's dots of the tears.
Does your brother have private parts?
Yeah.
Yeah? What is his private parts?
Penis and butt.
Mm-hmm. And what do you do with your brother with his private parts, Beth?
I heard it.
Tell me about it. What do you do?
Well, I pinch it, squeeze it, kick it.
When you do things to your brother's private parts, what does he say?
Stop.
Okay, tell me that.
Well, he says stop, but I don't stop.
Do you hurt him?
Mm-hmm. A lot.
Okay. And would you like to do that to other boys? Do you have animals, Beth?
4 of them.
And what do you do to the animals, Beth?
Stick them with pins.
Do you stick them a little bit or a lot?
A lot.
What are you trying to do to the animals, Beth?
Kill them.
Tell me about the knives. Where did you get them?
From the drawer.
And where else? Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it.
I got them from the dishwasher.
What kind of knives?
Big sharp ones.
And what do you want to do with those knives?
Kill John and Mommy with them, and Daddy.
And when Mommy asks you about where the knives are, what do you say?
I don't know where they are.
You get real mad at him? Did you hit his head real hard? Tell me about it. How many times did you do it? A lot?
Mm-hmm.
What was the floor like?
Seen it.
And what happened to your brother? Tell me about it.
His head hurt real bad, but his chin, he had to have stitches in it.
Could you stop? Use your words, Beth.
No.
Okay. What was your brother doing when you were doing this?
Playing with the toys.
Okay. Was he asking you to stop when you were doing it? What was he saying?
He said, Beth, stop.
And what did you do?
I didn't stop. I just kept on hurting him.
What were you thinking when you were doing that?
Thinking of killing him.
How did you stop? What made you stop?
When I heard Peter walking across the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
It made me stop because I thought Mommy and Daddy would come.
Okay. Did Mommy come? What did she do?
She sent me to my room.
Okay. And what if Mom didn't stop you? What would you have done?
Kept on doing it.
Beck no volvió a hacer noticia en los medios, pero logró superar sus traumas gracias a terapias intensivas. Se recibió de enfermera en la Universidad de Colorado y en la actualidad trabaja con cuidados intensivos neonatales. Además, dedica su vida a ayudar a familias y niños con trastornos reactivos del apego a través de la ONG. A su vez, en el año 2010 ganó el premio de enfermera del año en Mountain West. En esa ocasión, sus compañeros de trabajo la definieron como una persona con paciencia sin fin, cálida y cariñosa con un increíble sentido del humor. Si te gustó el contenido, suscríbete, dale pulgar arriba y déjame tu opinión sobre este caso. Estaré subiendo contenido interesante todas las semanas sobre el mundo del crimen.